Good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's live stream. Tonight we've got Vic, as usual, talking to the CEO of Swindon Town, Rob Angus. So, as usual, if you've got any questions, and we can see them coming in already, just put them in through Facebook or through YouTube. Okay, I'm going to bring Vic on. Hey, Vic.
A very good evening to you, Pete. I trust you are well in these troubling times.
I am very well, thank you. Yes, very much. Okay, should we get on and bring Rob right on? Hi, Rob. How you doing?
Good, thanks, Pete. Hello, Vic.
Hi, Rob.
Good. Great. So I'm going to let you two have a chat, and I'll field any questions and push them through to you, Vic. And we'll see you at the end.
Thanks very much indeed, Pete. And I should say this is only the second time that we've done one of these broadcasts on Thursday. The last time was when Richie Wellens left the club and did a broadcast. So it's very special occasions that we do them on Thursday. So we'd like to say, Rob, thank you very much indeed for joining us, because I don't suppose you've got much on at the minute, have you? Bit quiet there, is it? Nothing much happening?
No, nothing too much happening, Vic. It's all fairly quiet, pretty straightforward.
Yeah. Before we get into the Manchester City situation, which I'm sure you're aware, there are lots and lots of questions about, and that's the whole point of doing this. But the news this afternoon was, of course, that Swindon's game on Saturday against Walsall is off. And I'm sure you were looking forward to a very big crowd on Saturday for the visit of Matthew Taylor's team. Can you just run through the reasons for it being postponed?
Yeah, sure. It's a real disappointment, as you say, Vic. We were hoping for, a really big crowd. Clem's back in the country. His first came back, last game before Christmas, and a big celebration, hopefully, as well as having, Matty Taylor back at the county ground as well. But the reason we've got is that we've had a COVID outbreak, in the playing squad and the coaching team. We've got, I think it's around about 15 people have tested positive. Vast majority of the rest of the squad are having to self-isolate. Therefore, we've been in contact with the EFL and with Walsall and have had to take the decision, sadly, to call the game off.
You'll be aware there's been a statement by the EFL this afternoon regarding percentage of vaccinations and how many players you need to get the game on. I think it's 14. Is that right? You need a squad of 14 and a goalkeeper to fulfill the fixture. So at this moment in time, you wouldn't be able to do that.
No, at this moment in time, we wouldn't be able to do that. Have that squad of 14 with a goalkeeper, we wouldn't be able to do that. That's obviously new rules that have come out today from the EFL that apply, I think, from today. As you said, we wouldn't be able to meet those requirements. We need to bear in mind going forwards. I think it's a good thing that they've actually set some rules and some criteria, because before it was very much, well, we've got this amount, what do you think? And then it was very much, well, it's your decision to call it off, and then we'll investigate you afterwards, which I think will still be the case. But I think clarity on the rules is very helpful.
In terms of I wouldn't expect you to comment on personal cases, but can you give us a percentage of the amount of Town players that are vaccinated? Do you have those statistics?
We do have those statistics. It is a growing number. I would say it's around about probably 50% or so of the squad. This is off the top of my head. I don't know if that's fully accurate or not, but there are more due. That would be those that have got 2 jabs. There are more due to get the second jab and stuff like that. But I think a number of those that are double vaccinated have gone down with the virus. As we know, hopefully the vaccination means that the virus is milder when you get it, but it doesn't mean that you can't get it. What I would like to say is, touch wood, so far, none of them are having a really bad impact or reaction to having the virus. Let's hope it stays that way, touch wood, and the cases are mild for those that have it.
And there's 25%, I think, of Football League players who are not having a vaccine. Do you have a situation at Swindon where it's everybody's right, of course, to do what they want, but do you have a situation where any players are saying, no, I'm not having them?
I think we have a situation of some. I think it's a difficult balance if you're a professional footballer. I think my advice would be everyone to get the vaccine as the government advice. I've been triple jabbed now, plus the flu vaccine. I think probably the best way to stay safe, as the experts are telling us. But I think you've got to remember, you've got professional footballers who, I guess, will be worried about having a reaction to a vaccine that might put them out for a game or two, or their performances go down, and therefore they might lose their place. As we know, football is a very, difficult game and, very harsh in terms of if your performances drop. So I can understand that some players might have that reticent, but we do encourage all players to get vaccinated. But as you said, it is their choice.
I'm bound to put to you, you'll be aware on social media there were 1 or 2 pictures of players out in fancy dress last weekend. In hindsight, which is, of course, as we know, a wonderful thing, was that a wise thing?
Well, as you say, hindsight, a wonderful thing. We didn't know about the outbreak in the squad, if you like, until Monday morning. So when the players went out, for their Christmas party, which, I think, they've had a busy year. They deserve to go out and celebrate. And I think it's good team bonding as well. They didn't know that we had an outbreak in the camp. That was only identified on Monday morning when one of the coaching staff came down. So I don't think the parties had any bearing on the outbreak that we've had. I think they went to Wonderland, which I think is quite either outside or in quite a big aerated sort of room and area. Obviously, as you say, hindsight's a wonderful thing, but I don't believe it was a factor in the case of this outbreak.
Okay, fair enough. And I would imagine a great deal of work has gone into the Walsall game with COVID passports and the like. Were you well prepared before this was called off?
Yeah, we were well prepared. We were, lining up additional stewards. We were lining up some additional fencing outside of each turnstile to enable a better sort of type of queuing system, so that we can check over the passport, the lateral flow test before allowing entry. So a fair bit of work had gone in terms of planning that, agreeing those plans with the local council and the local health authority. So we were getting ready to go, and we're quite keen as well to trial it and start to learn from it ahead of what we hope to be a capacity crowd against Manchester City.
Yeah, 29th is the next home game, isn't it? So you've got a little while to go before that. Any early intelligence on Boxing Day, or is it too early to say?
It's too early to say. We've got to see how the players are and the coaching staff early next week. Obviously, we've now got the EFL guidance that you referred to, that if we've got 14 fit players and a goalkeeper, all clear of COVID and outside of isolation, then we have to play the game. But we'll have to review that early next week and see how the players are, see how their symptoms has worked through. It will probably be a daily thing that we check, but we'll keep people up to date as and when we know whether that game will be on or not.
Okay, let's before we get on to Man City, which I promise I will do in a minute, because already I've got dozens of questions coming in. One other issue has cropped up this week, and that, of course, is this possible winding up order. Now, I think you said that there basically is nothing to worry about, but can you just, in a nutshell, give us what it is and how you are suited for it? Yeah,
sure. So, as you know, and we'll come on to it, we've inherited a number of historic debts and issues when Clem took over back in the late summer. One of those is a loan that was alleged loan, if you like, because we dispute it, from AC Sports Wiltshire, otherwise known as Able. It was made back in February 19. It didn't come directly from that company. It came from another company. And, I think it had been previously referred to in varying court hearings as a non-refundable deposit. So we are disputing that payment. It's a loan of about £100,000. We don't believe the club should need to pay that, and we are willing to fight that and take the courts to do so. Now, the company claiming the money has taken it to a winding up petition, and I think the court will hear it in the middle of January. If we have to pay it, and the court decides to, we've got more than sufficient funds to do that, plenty of excess funds. But as you would expect, we're going to fight it, because we don't want money coming out of the club where we don't think it's justified to be paid.
So, as far as you're concerned, the club is in no danger?
No, the club is in no danger. Clem's got, put significant funding in already. There's more funding going in and helping with payments that we need to make. So there's no danger or no worry. We will fight every way we can to not pay the debt. If the court decides that we have to, then we've got the funds and the money to do that, and it will be done. But let's hope that our lawyers can win the argument. We think our arguments are strong. We don't like the details or the terms of the alleged loan, and we hope that we can knock it out of court.
Okay, well, that one will develop, I've no doubt. Right. You'll be aware that Swindon Town are at home to Manchester City on the 7th of January, 7:45, 8 o'clock kickoff, I should say, live on ITV, but of course, more importantly to Town fans, live on the county ground. Explain, if you will, can you just run us through the pricing structure and explain the reason you came to that pricing structure? And then I'll get on to the points, because there's a lot of them, and as you'll be aware. So if you could just run through the pricing structure and why you came to that decision.
Yeah, sure. So the pricing structure sets out, at £35 for both the Don Rogers Nationwide stand and the John Trollope Arkle stand for adults, £30 for the town end, and then goes down in terms of over 65s. It's 25 for the town end and 30 for the side stands, and then going down to £10 for under 11s. £10
for under 11s, but under 18s slightly more, aren't they?
Yeah. Under 18s are either 20 or 25, I believe.
Right. Well, can I put this question to you? This is from Flower Girls on Twitter, who says, I'm really disappointed in the huge increase for kids. I've made the decision as a season ticket holder. I can't afford or justify it just before Christmas. I told my kids tonight we're watching on TV. I've showed the club much loyalty, but feel very let down. No issues with £35 for mine. This is from Rachel. I hope the £25 for kids is addressed and not just adult pricing. That's one or two that have come in regarding the younger people's ticket prices. What would you say to those points?
Well, and I understand the feedback. I know it's a difficult time before Christmas, but this is a real big opportunity for the club to really advance our ability to manage the £4.5 million or so debt that we've inherited in the summer that Clem took on. He's already put more than £1 million in. We've got that debt down to just under £2.5 million, but there's a lot of work to do to reduce it further. Obviously, the legal case we referred to earlier and also the FA charges is driving a lot of legal costs that we're trying to incur. This is a really good opportunity for us to fast forward paying, if you like, those debts off. We did do some ticket pricing research. We look back at Exeter City's pricing when they played, I think, large Premier League team a few years back. Newport, back in 2019 when they played Man City, both fan-owned clubs. What I would say is that the money that we're going to generate is all money that can go back into the club. I will be very open and transparent as to the money we generate from this game, and equally exactly how we're going to use that money, both in terms of reducing the debts, but also making further investments in the ground that we've already done. So I'll be very, very transparent and open on that. But look, this is a real opportunity for the club. We are watching, one of the best teams in the world. It is a great opportunity for all of us to go to that game. I hope that all of our core fans do take that opportunity. As I said, the real rationale here for us is that we need every penny so that we can rebuild our great club, and every penny will go back in and rebuild our great club. And when we looked at ticket pricing, both currently in the, if we're watching Premier League champions like Man City and also whatever of clubs have done, fan-owned clubs, both of them I refer to, the ticket pricing looked in line with the market.
There's only a 2-day window, of course, and that 2-day window is starting Monday and closes Tuesday. That's for season ticket holders, isn't it? So that's a very short space of time to have to come up with that money before Christmas, isn't it?
Yeah, look, it is. I mean, we'd ideally like to give a bit longer, but given the time before the game and the impact of Christmas holidays, etc., it's quite a tight window. So we have sort of set out a window that we think we can manage through and work with season ticket holders so that they've got the first priority. They've got the opportunity to try and get their reserve seat. And obviously buy an additional seat as close as possible. The other thing, of course, that we've done for season ticket holders is we have said that there will be an additional free ticket that they can claim with a promotion code for the home game against Oldham on the 12th of March.
Yeah, I've got a point on that. Here we go. This is from George. It just doesn't seem that difficult to reward those season ticket holders who didn't take a refund and in effect paid £800 for the season with keeping their seat prices the same. In the great sea of debt that the club are in, that would only be a trickle in the recovery process and show that the club cared. None of us are interested in a free ticket for Oldham. What would you say to George, who's made that point?
Well, look, I think that the contribution that those season ticket holders from 2021 have made to waive their refunds has been fantastic and really appreciated. It's really helped manage down the debt, along with Clem's significant investment and the fact that we've had the strong backing we've had from supporters to date, both in terms of match day attendance, new season ticket holders, and people buying shirts. But look, we're in a large amount of debt. We need to get the club back on a sustainable footing. And this is a great opportunity to help us to do that. We will look at other ways where we can reward those season ticket holders who waived their refunds. That will be coming. We'll look at options to do that. In this game, it's very difficult because you have the pricing that you offer. You have to offer exactly the same pricing to the Man City fans as well. The lowest price you offer this game, you have to offer to the Man City fans. And equally, us identifying in what's quite a ticket process, the difference between season ticket holders and those season ticket holders that waived their refunds in 2021 is very difficult to do for this game. Now we've made an offer obviously for the additional ticket for the Oldham game, a free additional ticket for the Oldham game for season ticket holders. We will look again at rewards and a thank you for those season ticket holders that waived in 2021. But it's a balance of trying to keep it as simple as we can when we're sort of setting out the priority tickets and the pricing. And the complexities of how many tickets we need to offer Man City, which is 15% of the capacity. We're buying additional seats in the Stratton Bank so that we can maintain and keep the Man City fans in the Stratton Bank and maximise the Swindon fans in the Arkle stand and obviously around the rest of the ground. So it's a difficult balance and act, and we've got a balance of trying to keep things relatively straightforward and simple so that our systems and processes can cope.
Okay, on that subject, this is from Laura. What can you tell us about this? Why are the club calling supporters who've requested a season ticket refund? This is following an email asking supporters to withdraw their refund request. Do you know anything about that?
Well, look, we discussed in the advisory board's ways to talk and deal with a season ticket refund. We've emailed out, we've had requests, and we've had a number of people waive, which has been really, really appreciated by Clem and I. I think the next process is that Clem and I will look to call everyone individually. And discuss with them their refund, set out why we hope that they will look to waive to help the rebuild of our club. And obviously we were very close to going under in the summer, and we've had a real strong progress since, both off and on the pitch. If ultimately people don't want to waive the refund, then we'll work out the best way to recompense them. But we're hoping that everyone can appreciate that Clem can't do it all on his own. He needs our support. And they can work with us on that basis.
Another league game has gone, by the way, Port Vale against Exeter. So the games are tumbling as we speak. This is from Ryan. If the Man City game is forced to be played behind closed doors, will the club issue refunds within 14 days or once again ask fans to give up the cash? Now, this is the point I was going to bring up to you. Are there methods in which you can ensure income if there is a behind the closed doors scenario? Here we are. It all feels like March 2020, quite frankly. The games are tumbling minute by minute. And you do get the feeling at some point behind closed doors might be an option. Have the club got anything in place for that?
Well, look, it would be difficult if we had a similar scenario for a March 2020. You're very much there relying really on the generosity of Clem and his funding. With any support packages that come from the EFL or the Premier League, as they did last time. Whether they will come again, it's very difficult to say. But the far majority of the revenue that the club generates is from football games, and on the pitch revenue. We're trying to drive up the revenue that we drive off the pitch with, parties, conferences, events. And we've got some great facilities at the county ground with very many different size of rooms. But that would in no way make up right now for the revenue we generate from match days. So it would be a big struggle, and obviously, given the debts we've inherited in the summer, we're not in the strongest of financial positions. We were very much reliant on Clem to continue to fund and support the club, and also hope that the Premier League and the EFL look at other ways to support clubs in what will be a very difficult time for all football clubs, given that the issues that have recently happened through the pandemic and the fragility of our finances and many other clubs.
Have you had any parties cancelled because a lot of businesses are, obviously.
Yeah, we have had a number of parties that we booked. We actually had some very strong bookings for our Christmas parties and events at the county ground. There's some really great feedback from the food that Chris Brooke and the team have put on. You got some really stalwarts there, Kev, Jill, many of them that do great work. Tina and Kelly, our chef, have done a great job putting on parties and events. We've had a few cancels. We've had probably the majority continued. I think most of the events have happened, but we've got some this week and we've had some cancellations already. We just hope that people got to take a balanced decision, but obviously from the club's perspective, if they go on it obviously all helps the finances.
This is from Shane. With games being called off this weekend and COVID cases rising, are we even going to have a full county ground for the City game? I guess the point that Shane's making, I mean, there is a possibility again, social distancing might come into it, of course, like we saw for 2 games last season. I mean, are you just literally like the rest of us, really, playing it by hour? Because that seems to me how it is at the minute.
Very much so, Vic, very much so. Obviously, you saw the COVID rules that come out for the EFL came out today in terms of having you've got to have, if you've got 14 players and a fit goalkeeper, you've got to play the game. Equally, they've also issued today new COVID requirements for the first team, the playing squads to adhere to, which is going to drive additional costs. So you're probably looking at additional coach. You're probably looking at individual hotel rooms, outside training only, more social distancing. So there's a cost with a lot of that's going to come through just to maintain, if you like, the playing team and making sure that we're keeping them as safe as possible and managing COVID outbreaks as best we can. As you say, if we reduce the capacity down, that is going to have an impact on revenue as well. And there's a lot of work, for the team to work through and understand how many you can get into the ground safely with social distancing requirements. Obviously, that was worked through previously, for the 2021 season for the 2 games that were played. But you got to see what the rules, and that was quite a lot of work and effort the team tell me to get that through. So we are really hoping that we can carry on as best we can as normal, put the COVID vaccinations in place with the lateral flow tests as well to make sure that everybody coming to the stadium, has been jabbed and is got a negative lateral flow or one or the other. And we're making sure that people are wearing masks inside and outside, in the bowl, then hopefully they're in the open air and it should be okay.
So it would be masks on the concourse is what you're asking.
Masks on the concourse and obviously inside if you're in the hospitality areas.
Yeah.
And then masks not on, outside when you're in the outside of the ground. But look, we're keeping a review and an eye on it. You've got to do it daily. Things are moving quickly. Hopefully, as many people are saying, this is the beginning of the end, shall we say, in terms of a milder variant that will sweep through. We just hope that's the case. And it, as you say, it doesn't have the devastating impact that we saw, in March 20.
Yeah, we all hope that. This is from Ryan. Swindon Town's a private business. Can the club stop playing the victim card? I think you'll get that there are some strong feelings out there, Rob, bearing in mind all the goodwill that the club's had. So you'll understand that there are people who have a slightly difficult views now at the minute. This from Greg. How are loyal family season ticket holders able to afford Manchester City tickets at the prices published? You've got 2 adults and 2 younger people, possibly 50 quid and 120 quid for one game. It's a lot of money, isn't it?
Look, it is a lot of money. I accept that, but it's a one-off game. The last time we played in the 3rd round of the FA Cup at home against a Premier League team 10 years or so ago. It is a great occasion. If we were drawn away, then the cost would be much, much higher. When you took in price the ticket prices, the costs of getting up there and stuff like that. So, look, we as I say, we thought long and hard about this. We did consult with the supporters club and the trust, and they gave us their feedback. But the need for the club to repair its finances is significant. As I said before, Clem can't do it on his own, and this will be a fantastic help for us to continue that repair and get us back on an even keel. And yes, I accept it's a private business, but it's a private business that is a football club. So it is different, and it's a football club that was in real danger in the summer. Clem put his money in his pocket, He's put a lot of money on the table. We do need to continue to support him so that we can rebuild our club. And this is a great opportunity for us to clear those debts down and invest in the infrastructure and grow our club going forwards.
On the subject of the infrastructure, here's a couple more for you on infrastructure, basically. This is from Sean. I see extra seats have been put in the bank, which the bank needed tarting up, let's be honest with you. And you know that as well as anybody. Any news on what we can do with that area once the ground is purchased, considering the restrictions? And from Nikki, when will staffing issues for the phone lines be sorted? The poor girl that answered today, after I was on hold for 2 hours, said she felt sorry for everyone. Now, bearing in mind that window kicks off on Monday, and as you know, a lot of people are going to try and get their tickets on Monday. How are you with dealing with that? Because we are literally the week before Christmas, and we understand it is a difficult time. How are you dealing with that?
So look, it's a difficult challenge. Obviously, it's a nice challenge because you've got Manchester City.
Yeah.
The demand is high.
Yeah.
If as many people as possible can buy online, then that obviously will help. We are putting additional people on the phone lines. We're putting additional phone lines in so that we can try and provide better service. We have tried to make some improvements there. Demand is high. We've got to manage obviously the ticket windows as well as the telephone lines. So look, we're putting additional staff on it. There's a limit to what you can do in the short time that you've got to train people up. And to understand the systems and to make sure that people get their tickets in the right spot and the right place. But we are putting additional staff on it. And, the website will be there and available as well. So as many people can book via the website, then that would be great. And then hopefully the additional staff and additional phone lines we're putting in will help with the demand. But look, the reality is with demand as it is for such a game as this and the short period of time we've got to sell tickets before the game goes on, there is going to be wait time, and I just hope everybody can be patient with the staff and understand that, and we'll be doing the best we can, believe me.
Just to clear it up, you can go into the shop, is that right, and buy tickets. You can go on the phone or online, but not at the outside ticket windows, as I understand it. Is that right?
No, the outside ticket windows, I believe, should be open.
Oh, right. Okay.
One of the team might correct me in the comments, but I believe they should be open. They should be open, and obviously we'll have phone and online. But online is the best and probably the quickest route to go down. But we will be putting greater phone lines on and maximising the window space we have available.
And the Stratton Bank, this is once the ground is purchased, because obviously it is a bit of a grey area, the Stratton Bank, and you will be utilising it for the City fans, obviously. It would be nice to see the bank full, to be honest, but there's a lot of work to be done on it.
Yeah, there is a lot of work to be done on it. As I say, we've purchased additional seats now. They've arrived. I think they arrived today, so that we can fill up the bank completely, which means that we can keep the Man City fans in the bank and maximise Swindon fans in the rest of the ground. So that comes at quite a cost. We've got to fit them now as well, and we've got a great dedicated team of helpers working with Noel, Fred, Matty Vernon, Jordan, Paz, a number of others who are working really hard to get that ready for us. We've had to invest because the CCTV wasn't working in the bank. That's been used for quite a period of time, so that needs to be up and working for the police so that they can work that through. So we are working through on it. We do hope, obviously, after we bought the ground, one of the first things to do would be look at the roof and how we can make the most of the Stratton Bank. None of us knows that there are limitations of that given how far it goes back. And working through on that basis. I've just had a message from Andrew, who's obviously looking after you, to say the ticket windows will be open after Christmas.
Right. What, for Man City tickets?
For Man City tickets, yeah. So on Monday, so I think it's online. Probably, as you said, Vic, go in the shop and the telephone for next week. And
then after Christmas, the ticket windows will be open. Right. Okay. I hate to mention this, but will the poor old clock be fixed?
Well, look, the good news is we've had the hands fixed. They aren't fixed right now.
Right. Okay.
We've also invested in a new scoreboard because that was broken after that same Harrogate game with those high winds. We now need the mechanism to be fixed, but we're on the case with great support from Deacons who have helped us with that.
Oh, that's good to know. It was a flippant question, but I didn't expect you to give me that answer. So, well done. Simple as that. This is from Royston. As a non-season ticket holder who's been to the majority of home games and 5 away games, it's disappointing to see season ticket holders get an additional ticket. Why was this decision made? Bearing in mind the high demand for tickets that there will be, why did you make that decision?
Look, I think we wanted to reward season ticket holders for their loyalty and their support. We want to give them that opportunity to buy an additional ticket for what will be, a massive game. And as you say, for us, as we've seen historically, once in a 10 years sort of experience, we hope it's more frequently going forwards, of course. So we wanted to reward that loyalty with their option to buy an additional ticket for the game. And equally, we wanted to reward their loyalty with the free ticket offer for additional free ticket offer for the Oldham game. Look, I'm hoping that given the fact that we've maximised the number of seats available for Swindon fans, that everybody who's a supporter of the club will be able to get a ticket for the game.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I'm just scrolling through, so do bear with me. Right. This is from Royston. Does Rob share most fans' bemusement at fans boycotting matches due to the new entry requirements? I mean, I haven't heard many examples of that. Have you? That people might, because of, I mean, I know Carlisle have reduced their seating capacity, haven't they, to 3,999 to get below the limit of 4,000, and indeed their overall capacity, I think. So you wouldn't need a COVID passport. Have you heard any examples of that?
No, not in the main. And look, I mean, I would say that the requirements, I think they've said today, is it really a COVID passport? So you can get in with either, showing your NHS app illustrating that you're double jabbed, or I think the card that you get from the vaccine centres is applicable as well, or a negative lateral flow test. And that can be, you show the test, or you have a picture, or you probably show, you can get obviously an email or notification from the NHS. So I think it's COVID checks. Whether it would be strictly a COVID passport, I'm not so sure. Look, it's government rules. We have to abide by those rules if we want the games to be played, and we want to maximise the number of Swindon fans in the ground, which of course we want to do.
Yeah, it's out of your hands, I think it's fair to say, isn't it? So, I think we all take that. Right, let's try and get some more of these in. This is from Dean. Have mascot packages been released for Man City? And on a similar subject, how can the mascot packages be full before tickets have been released? That assumes all the mascot packages have been sold. And then we've got the other question saying, when are they being released? So what is it?
Well, we've had huge amount of demand for mascot packages, a massive amount of demand, I think. So we've got a real big list of people that have requested them, and obviously there's a limited amount of mascot packages we can offer. We're probably gonna have to review it anyway in respective COVID requirements that will come in for players, because there will be a tightening up of the red zone in and around the sort of the players area. And of course, we're playing one of the world's greatest teams currently, and a Premier League team will have their own COVID requirements as well. So we need to work that through, along with the significant demand that we've received, ahead in respect of mascot packages.
Yeah, this is from Matt Taylor. Now, it's either the weatherman, manager of Exeter City, or the manager of Walsall. Or Matt Taylor. So there's clearly many more than one. I love the PDF and the transparency around the pricing. Now, this came out yesterday, along with a little video of you and Clem explaining what you'd done. Just if you could, it's difficult. You may not have the figures in front of you, but run through some of the expenses that you have for this game, because I would imagine policing is a biggie, stewarding is a biggie. As you said, the Stratton Bank. Give us an idea of how much is being laid out and how much the club's going to make.
Well, look, we I think we set it out in the document that we set out, and that's just very much an estimate at this stage. So, we'll get obviously good money, around about 80,000 or so from the TV. We could hopefully clear over 100,000, 120,000 or so from tickets if we have a full county ground. You've got to remember, we've got to share 45% of those receipts with Manchester City and 10% with the FA. We will hopefully get higher advertising and sponsorship revenue, given the fact it's on ITV, and we are investing in a LED system in terms of advertising around the pitch side for TV, which should help drive additional revenue. Obviously, there's a cost of that as well, but the revenue should outweigh the cost of installing that LED advertising system that you see in all of the Premier League games when you watch those on the telly. We will make some more money on the hospitality side, and we're looking to expand the hospitality offering, working with the Community Foundation, who've been very, very supportive, do a great job, John and Shane, as well as Boom Battle Bar as well, who have offered to help us with providing additional supply for the significant demand we've had on hospitality. That will help us. From a cost perspective, obviously there's costs in implementing a lot of that as well. And you hope obviously that you'll get the sales into to cover that. There are the costs of the additional seats in the Stratton Bank. There's the cost of the CCTV. There's a cost of some PA system fixing to make sure that's working for the Stratton Bank as well. And we've had to do some concrete repairs, some painting in the Stratton Bank as well to get it all ready and available in time for the game. So Fred and Noel and the team have been, really, really flat out from that perspective. As you referred to, Vic, there are additional policing costs and quite a significant additional stewarding costs that we have to incur as well. So the costs of putting on the game are quite significant. We expect the revenue to substantially outweigh that, and obviously will help us with repairing the finances in the club.
Yeah, I think it's something like 350,000. Is that right? You could clear from this game. Is that right?
That's current estimate.
Yeah.
And obviously, whatever we do end up sort of clearing once we've accounted for everything, we'll be very transparent in saying this is the money that we've made. These are the costs we incurred. This is now what we're going to do with those surplus funds that we've received in terms of paying down debt and or making investment in the infrastructure. So we'll be very transparent on how every single pence is paid. But as I said, this is the significant difference under the ownership we've claimed, is that every penny that the club generates is invested back in the club in one way or another, whether that's repaying debts or investing in infrastructure to help the club move forwards. This
is from Mitchell on that transparency subject. One thing I do appreciate is the continuing transparency and communication we get from them. They've not done it and then hid. They've done the PowerPoint video and then you've come on tonight. So it is appreciated. And there's another thing which has cropped up. This is from Andrew. Will you move any season ticket holders temporarily? For example, additional areas for substitutes? And I think, you have to move some for television, don't you? To put a television studio up and that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's right, Vic. We've got to move some for television, for radio and for media, because obviously our media numbers, given it's Man City, will be swelled because you've got the world's press wanting to attend. So TV, media, and we are expecting that the requirements around the red zone, and this may well be the case for league games going forwards anyway, will mean that that we'll probably have to temporarily move some people. So apologies for that. We'll contact those people.
That's a sterile area for players and managers and things like that. Yeah, that's
right. And that will be much stricter, we believe, going forwards, given the outbreak.
Right. And just a comment here from Michelle. I'm a season ticket holder, but can't afford this with 2-time under 11s. Happy to pay £35 for an adult, but £25 for 2 children is extortionate. I think you said for under 11s it was slightly cheaper than 25, didn't you?
Under 11s it's £10.
Yeah,
okay. In the town and down in the side stands.
Yeah, okay. So I hope that helps you a bit, Michelle. Really. When is hospitality going to be available for Man City? Have you already put that on sale, or when will that go on sale?
Well, I would get in touch with Danny Lee, who's doing a great job managing sort of commercial and hospitality demand. We've already had a massive amount of emails come in for demand for hospitality. We have boosted supply, obviously with the support of Boom Battle Bar and STFC Community Foundation. So do get in touch. I think it's email marketing at swindontownfc.co.uk. And then Danny, really well supported by Alicia, will working through, that demand.
On the playing side, this is from Rich. Will Jojo be in the squad for the Man City game? Because of course we were expecting him to go off and play for Ghana in the African Nations Cup, but I would imagine that must be in some doubt now. What do you know about that? Anything?
No, not at this stage. Obviously, we're expecting that he will get called up. He's done fantastically well, obviously, for us, and then really well for Ghana, which is great for him. But obviously, we miss him when he's gone. Although we've got a great, number 2 in terms of Lewis Ward. We don't know just yet whether he'll be available or not. We are expecting him to be called up, and then we'll have to work with the Ghanaian FA and see what they can do. So it's one we'll keep a close eye on.
So no answer on that at the moment. This is from Shane. If you need any help with the phones, I'm more than happy to answer calls for free.
Well, that's really appreciated.
Yeah, volunteers coming forward, so that's fine. From Lee, do you think Manchester City would give up their share and allow Swindon to keep all the ticket revenues? Now, that does have a precedent, I think, doesn't it? They've done that in the past. They're not short of a bob or two, but nobody from Man City has been in touch with you to say you can have all the money yet, have they?
Not yet. No, not yet. Look, of course, that would be a lovely Christmas present for the club, and it's much needed. And obviously, they're in a different stratosphere from us. Currently, given the monies the Premier League generates, and obviously who they're owned by. But it's very much a decision for them. It would be great if they could, but that's a call for Manchester City.
Okay, fair enough. From Jim, whilst I don't fully agree with the high cost of tickets, I do appreciate the transparency and honesty. From Terry, will the Stratton Bank have working toilets or portaloos? What do you think? I mean, it's quite a task to get everything sorted out in what are we talking? 3 weeks, basically, aren't we? So will it be portaloos or what?
There will be portaloos. I think there will be portaloos. We will do what we can in this time that we can to get some of the main toilets working. Obviously, they need a lot of work, and we've been pricing up that work. Which, in terms of putting new sort of decent toilets in, we've probably decided to pause on that now until we bought the ground and we've worked through the architecture for how we develop the Stratton Bank. So we're hoping it will be a combination of what we can do in the time with the existing toilets, which, let's be honest, won't be great for those that can remember the last time they were on the Stratton Bank, which is probably some time ago. We will need to rely on portable loos as well.
Okay. This is from Luke. When debt is paid down, I'd like to see ticket prices come down in the long run by a couple of quid. It would really help to increase fans in the ground and repay some of the goodwill shown by fans. You did publish the debt at the moment the other day. I think it was 1.25. Is that right? What memory sticks in my head?
It's towards the rest of the season. That's about the right number. The debt in total was still around about just under 2.5 million, around about 2.4 to 2.5 million in total. What you've got in the advisory board is both the total debt and the debt that's due between now and the end of the season.
Right. Oh gosh, here we go. From Tim, massive thanks to Rob again. I can't remember a CEO at Swindon in all my many years I've followed this club doing what you're doing now. So thank you very much, Steve, for that. From Steve, if you buy a ticket for Man City and catch COVID, can you get a refund or put it back on sale? Which is an interesting point because, you could buy a ticket Monday and, of course, who knows what happens Tuesday? You don't know. So would that be a situation where you could send it back to the club and then they could resell it? I guess you could, couldn't you?
Yeah, I think we've got rules on that already. I think if you inform us, I think it's 24 hours before the game, then we have got a refund policy from a ticket perspective in that respect. Hopefully, everybody who buys a ticket won't get COVID. I don't want anybody to get COVID. We all want rid of the horrible thing. But there is a refund policy in place in respect of people who buy a ticket. And if they inform us 24 hours before the game that they can't attend, then we will look at issuing refunds.
And likewise, if they decided for some reason, any reason they didn't want to, as long as you give you 24 hours notice, so you can send the ticket back. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if they could do it before, that would be good because it's hard, obviously, to resell it within a short period of time. One thing to note, Vic, on the tickets, just to make sure that everything's working properly, because we know about the ticket and access control issues that we're working through and having to invest quite a lot of money in because of the the lack of investment in the ticketing system or on the ground completely, which is another factor to the issues that we have. We will be looking to issue paper tickets completely for this game, and we will be posting those out to everybody. So whether you buy in the shop or over the phone or online, we'll be posting the tickets out to you, and you will get a physical ticket to enter the ground, because we believe hopefully that'll help the scanners work on a day when we know that obviously there's going to be a large attendance.
Yeah, well, the last thing you want is a queue snaking around County Road, do you? I mean, that would be something you wouldn't want, I don't think. Right. This from Ben. Is there any plan to pay off the EFL loan in January? Now, I think Clem addressed this the last time he was with us, that if they felt that the club was in a strong enough playing position, not having to invest further funds, then they possibly wouldn't. But has that changed?
No, I think the position's still the same. Obviously, there's quite uncertainty around at the moment, obviously, because of the impact of COVID, which complicates things further. And as I referred to earlier, both in terms of putting games on, we've got greater costs, and obviously in terms of looking after the team and the travel costs, et cetera, are going to be greater as well. So we've got to weigh all those factors up in January, and we look at things, and it's something that I'm sure we'll discuss at the advisory board in January.
Yeah. Okay. From a follow-up, this is from Michelle. Just to clarify, why does the price jump from £10 to under 11s to £25 for under 18s? Couldn't there have been an interim price for under 16s? Did you look at that?
We try. It's a difficult balance in trying to keep the ticket pricing, should we say, relatively straightforward and simple and manageable. We were conscious that we wanted to try and make sure that for under 11s that they weren't priced out of the game, and we balanced that with slightly higher pricing for under 18s. That was the call and the decision we make, and we have to agree ticket pricing then with Manchester City and the FA, and once it's set, it's sort of set. So it was a balance, and that's obviously the judgment that we ultimately made.
Okay. Right. This is from Steve, and slightly flippant. Did Clem bring Rob back a Christmas present from Australia? Did you get a nice present from him? Oh, you don't know yet. It's not Christmas.
It's great to have him back. It's great to have him back.
Has he brought his family with him, or is he spending Christmas on his own, or what was he doing?
He's on his own at this stage. I believe his family are planning to come closer to Christmas. Okay. Now, whether the variant, the spread of it over here puts them off or not, I don't know. But I think they're still planning to come closer to Christmas. But he's here, and it's not as if he's not on it when he's in Australia, because I speak to him in the morning and in the evening, and up to about lunchtime until he sort of wakes, early hours in Australia. But he's already sort of straight on it and working very, very closely with us, and it's great to have him back.
I bet he's bitterly disappointed there isn't a game Saturday, isn't he? Because
he's very, very, very disappointed. To obviously travelled all this way, and he's really looking forward to the game against Warsaw and a bit of a Christmas celebration. He loves Christmas. We were going to get him to dress up as Father Christmas, but he's very disappointed.
Right, let's. We've already touched on this, but this is from Rich James. Will the Exeter City game go ahead at this point in time? I think the answer is we don't know. It's that simple. It is at the minute. That's all we could say, isn't it? Really? Yeah. From Jason, how many half-season tickets have been sold since the FA Cup draw? Very interesting, because I think you qualify, don't you, for a City ticket if you've got a half-season, and indeed the bundle ticket, which you could still get a City ticket. Any idea how many you've sold? Because I would imagine that was a bit of an increase as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was an increase. Look, I think it's great that Ella, who's our head of retail and ticketing, has done a great job in terms of getting those half-season tickets and bundle tickets ready so that we had them, available. Obviously, we want to encourage as many people to come on a regular basis, not just for the Manchester City game. Equally, why we've done the Oldham free ticket promotion for season ticket holders and our season ticket holders. I think as of yesterday, we'd seen about an extra 200 or so half-season tickets been sold, which is great and very helpful. And around about 150 or so of the bundle tickets, they do give priority access. For the Man City game. And look, we want to encourage as many people, to come along after the Man City game and not just for that game. Okay.
This is from Malcolm. Just seen the ticket details for Man City. How about this idea to maximise income? The next 3 home games, well, it'll be 2 now, non-season ticket holders return their ticket stubs to gain a cup ticket. That way a home gate of 12 to 13,000 guaranteed for those matches. Well, obviously it's only 2 now, isn't it? Northampton and Stevenage. Is that practical?
I think it's a good idea, and I think I can remember your club doing it in the past. practicality is difficult. Obviously, these days where you've got much more system generated and computer generated systems to work through. So I mean, it's a good idea. I think practicality is difficult in the window that we've got.
Right. This is from Pete. Will it be possible to donate our additional ticket for the Oldham game into a pool so we can really fill the ground for that game? Maybe the trust or the supporters club can organise this. I guess also another way, if you buy an extra Man City ticket and feel, that you want to, you could always donate that into a pool and give it to somebody else, can't you? What about that idea for the Oldham game? Yeah, it'd be nice to get some people along, wouldn't it, who wouldn't necessarily come to a town game?
No, absolutely. Look, and that's part of the reason we've done the Oldham game. We want to try and encourage more people coming. Season ticket holders have got friends and family that they can, entice to come along with a free ticket. It all helps, and hopefully they see a great day and encourage to come along again. We'd be very happy to work with the Supporters Trust and the Supporters Club as always to see if a pool sort of works. The way that we find the best way to manage the ticket promotions we do, because obviously we do regular free tickets for schools and youth football clubs, is through a code that people can redeem, buying a ticket online. That is the best way for us to manage it and work through. But we can very much look at those sort of ideas ahead of the Oldham game with the Supporters Club and the Supporters Trust. We've got some time to do it as well.
On a separate subject, this is from Claire. Is there an update on the case of Scott Twinemoney? He went off to MK Dons. There was a tribunal, if I remember rightly, on that case. What is the situation with that?
Well, I think, there's a tribunal there between MK Dons and ourselves that's independently adjudicated. We're hoping that we can release details of the outcome of that in our January advisory board. It should have been held and confirmed by then.
You're hoping he scores more and more goals, I guess, are you?
I think the fact that he got November League One Player of the Month, I think was hopefully is helpful. They very much look at, if you like, they don't look at sort of transfer values. They look at the development that he's had at Swindon and the investment Swindon's put in making the development for Scott, who's obviously was fantastic for us towards the back end of last season. From January. It's a shame that he left the club and that Clem wasn't in place to encourage him to stay. You can't blame him for leaving at the time because the club was, his future was very much in doubt, as we all know. But we hope that the result of the tribunal fairly compensates the club for the development it put in for what's turned out to be a great player, and it's fantastic that he's a local lad as well.
Yeah. This from Adam. Will there be any more blue goalkeeper kits going on sale? On the subject of kits, I think you've spoken before about how it's difficult to get any more of the current season kits. I have my new third kit behind me, which turned out to be black after all the questions. What about that? I mean, where are we at with the shop? I mean, I know you don't deal day to day with the shop; it's not your gig really, but many people have commented you'll be aware of the lack of stuff in the shop. I don't know if you've appointed a new retail manager. You're after a deputy one as well. Where are we at with kits, that sort of thing?
So look, I mean, it has been a struggle getting on top of that. We are working on it. We've put additional staff in, to the shop. We've got Vicky in there. We've got Mark as well, Kieran, working in there. Chelsea, we've got a good team in there, supported by Ella, and we've asked Matt Waters, our general manager, does a fantastic job to help support in that space as well, as we drive more product in there, more stock and better product and stock that our supporters and our customers want. We will look at ordering more Goldie kits. I don't quite know where we are on supply. We know there's an issue with Puma from that perspective. We know obviously the black kit will be in the shop, hoping that it'll be in the shop next week. It's obviously available online, and we're dispatching it right now. We've got some additional training wear that has just landed. That was carted around to the stock room earlier today, and we hope to get that out on the shelves ASAP. So we are really working hard to improve the stock and the layout of the store, not just the retail store, but the online store as well, and the logistics. But we're hoping that the additional staff we've brought in and the investment in the stock will show a better product and service for, our loyal supporters and customers just take us a little bit of time, but we are on it. We know that it needs to improve, and we're working very hard to do so.
Okay. On that note, I've received a notification of shipping for my black kit a week ago, but I haven't got it yet. Should I contact the club or just be patient?
Well, I'll be patient. It should be on its way. But if if you're getting worried, then drop an email to queries@swindontownfc.co.uk, and we'll follow up on that. We are looking to make improvements with our shipping supplier so we can track things sort of better. But if you're starting to get concerned, drop an email to queries@swindontownfc.co.uk, and the team will look at it.
From Steve, is there any truth that the youngster Louis Barry at Villa is coming to town? Now, he was on loan at Ipswich, wasn't he? I think Villa are going to recall him, and I think they're quite impressed with what's happened with Tyrese Simpson at Swindon, aren't they? And so, what do you reckon? Kane Kessler-Hayden, I think. Sorry, I'll get confused on loan players. Yeah, I think they're obviously impressed with what's happened with him. So, what do you reckon?
Well, it's very much a call for Ben Garner and Ben Chorley to come through with their recommendations to strengthen the squad in January. Which then Clem and I will look out, and along with Ray Murphy, our great club secretary, make sure that it's something that we can work through and afford and within the rules that we work within. But that's one very much for the two Bens, should we say?
Okay, our time is coming to an end, and again, I really appreciate your time. We've had loads and loads of queries, and as usual, we'll pass any more that we haven't got through to you, if so that you can respond to them. I know this is a ridiculous question, and you can say it's a ridiculous question if you like, but bearing in mind what's been happening in the last couple of days with all the work that's involved, would you have rather been at home to Barnsley in the third round of the Cup, or are you delighted with the third round of the Cup?
No, look, I'm delighted with the third round of the Cup. To put Swindon Town on the map again, against, as I say, one of the world's greatest teams at the moment, the leaders of the Premier League. They just beat Leeds 7-0. To see those players at the county ground, for us to be on national TV on ITV1 at a prime time slot is fantastic exposure for the club. The revenue that we'll generate, as I said before, will really help the significant debt issue that we've got on the mounting legal costs and maintenance costs that we face as a club. So I'm delighted with the draw. Really looking forward to it. It's a hell of a amount of work for the staff and the team. They're doing a great job. But equally, it's a great opportunity to get our great club and the town, back on the map.
Would you be able to enjoy Christmas at all, or are you completely and utterly engulfed with this?
It's pretty much 24/7, 6 days a week. We're not quite, but very close to that. I guess sadly with the call off for the Walsall game, it's probably maybe a little bit more leeway in terms of less sort of preparation after a game that we need to do and get ready for the next one. As ever with football, you've got to accept that Christmas is a busy period, and we hope it's a busy period because obviously we want as many games played during this period as well, because it's our tradition and fans love it, and it's also a time where we see more people coming to football because it's a family day out. I know I always had much more family going to games on Boxing Day and New Year's Day, so it's something that if you're working in football, you have to accept. Quite different from my time working at Nationwide, where we'll probably be finishing about now.
Yeah. Here's a comment. It would be great to see one of the world's greatest teams play at the county ground. Let's see how Manchester City fare against them. So there we are. Let's be positive. I mean, I as speaking as a fan, it's one of those games you just go to enjoy. And let's be honest, 19 times out of 20, Man City will win. But you just go with that one hope, don't you? But we'll see. Rob, thank you very much. And you will know that there is a lot of feeling out there about the increase, and you know that. I don't need to tell you that. But I think you've explained in great detail why you've done it today. And I hope that answers a lot of the questions that people have put forward. So really appreciate your time tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vic. Thanks, everybody.
Pete, are you there? You're there.
Yes, I am. Great. Thanks very much, everyone. Vic, we're definitely having a live stream on Monday, aren't we?
We are. We're hoping to have an absolute town legend. We are hoping.
And if not, we'll have 4 of them.
Yeah, well, otherwise we'll have an ordinary panel. But yeah. I'm really hoping to have an absolute town legend on Monday, who I might talk to in a starstruck schoolboy voice, because it is that good. So we'll let you know later in the week who that is and if it's happening. So here we are.
But at worst, we'll have a panel.
At worst, yeah, we'll have a panel.
Panel exciting. I didn't mean it like that. Great. Thanks very much, everyone. Thanks for all the questions. We got absolutely tons coming through, so we couldn't get through all of them. But thanks again, Rob, and thanks, Vic. See you Monday.